Guys, so the next thing that we want to do is we want to develop the hero section, which is uh, the last thing that we have to do. The hero section is this entire portion. So let's again have a look at the structure. Okay, so this entire hero is divided into two components, left and right. And the right is an image with some social media icons. So first let's try to complete the right hand side, which is relatively easier to do. Yeah, let's get started with that. Okay, so now first thing that we'll do is we'll add a grid, and grid columns will be two. We'll also give a good padding to this. Okay, so the two child divs are this and this. Okay, yeah. Okay, then what we can do is we have this face png. Why, let's see how it looks. Okay, so it's placed on the right hand side perfectly where it should have been, but these icons are not placed properly in the right location. So let's take care of social media. So these are the three icons. What we can do is we can give them a position of absolute, but for them to work correctly, we would first need to give the parent, immediate parent of the images, with the position of relative. So yeah, and then we can give this as absolute, position absolute, and maybe top of 8 and left of 8. Let's see how it looks. Okay, cool. And let's add this for the other two as well. All of them are at the same place. We don't want that. So what I'll do is I'll put this on the right hand side, and this one also on the right hand side. Maybe 36, and change the top to bottom. And this could be, let it be like that. Okay, cool. But now it's coming on top of our image. We can try out a couple of things. Well, there's one more thing. We want to add a border and a border radius as well. So let's add that as well. We need padding as well, so give it a padding of 2 maybe, and this is applicable for the other two as well. Okay, rounded full, this class will convert the square borders to rounded borders. Yeah, so we have the rounded borders. Let's give everybody a width of, let's say, 20. Yeah, this looks better, but we'll also need to give a background color of white, otherwise this doesn't look good. So bg white, that's how easy it is to give background. Cool. One more thing that I want to change is Maybe I'll change this to 24 and this to 36. Okay, now it's looking better. Cool. The right hand side is almost done. Yeah, it's exactly like how it's there. Just the buttons have swapped, the LinkedIn button and the Twitter button. That's okay. That's not a problem for us. Let's design the left hand side. This is okay. So this is a different font. We are going to handle that later. First, we'll build this entire thing. So first of all, we will need to have a flex box for this. Flex column, that is the direction, and we want it at the center. So justify center, and we'll also add a padding. Cool. So now everything is one below the other. This is good. Now class, let's add some class to the h1 tag. What we want is we want the text to be really huge. So I'll add 7XL and font should be bold. Maybe add a little bit of padding to the left. Yeah, something like this. Right. They're actually very close to each other, so we can increase the letter spacing and also the line spacing between these two. So that can be done easily using Tailwind. So to increase the letter spacing, we can use a class called as tracking wide, and for line spacing we have something called as leading, which we can add. Yeah, looks better. Of course, you're going to add a font family to this that will improve the look and feel. Instead of padding 8, I'll add a padding of 12. And other places, let's add a padding of 4 so that it looks even better. Yeah, something like this. We'll add the same for the paragraph P4, PL12 so that it remains consistent. Text, let's keep as large, which is just above 16 pixels, maybe 18 pixels. And let's give it a leading of 2. Okay. Let's add something else to this lorem ipsum so that, yeah, this looks good. The next thing is these two buttons, hire me and download CV. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to have a display flex. Let the direction be a row, which is the default, and we can have a justify content of space between so that one is on the left hand side, the other is on the right hand side. So I'll add flex, flex justify between, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, so one is on the left hand side, the other is on the right hand side. However, I think I should add some of padding to it. Yeah, so it's on the same line. So this line on the left hand side, it is symmetric. There is a symmetry here, so it just adds consistency to the application. Okay, now let's style the buttons. So buttons have, let's see how the buttons look. Okay, so buttons have this border radius, they have a padding, and I think this is not one single color, it is a gradient of, there's an orange here, orangish shade, then there is a yellowish shade, and then again there's an orangish shade. So there's a gradient of three colors here. The text color is white and it is also bold. Okay, so let's try to implement this quickly using Tailwind. uh, we'll add padding first because that is easy. We'll give it a semi bold font text. We know the text is white. uh, Cursor should be pointer when a user hovers over that button. Now the next thing that we would need is, let's see how it looks. Oh, okay, no problem. Let's add color to this first. So we want a gradient which goes from left to right. So how we do that in Tailwind is bg gradient to r, left to right, and we add a from color, a to color, and in between a via color. So we want to go from orange 500 to yellow 500 maybe, and back to orange 500. Let's see how it looks. Yes, I think that's what we need. This is very similar. Okay, the width is different. Okay, so we'll add a fixed width to the button. How much should we give? Let's try with 50. Do we have 50? Yeah, 52. And rounded borders. Okay, this looks good, but it still doesn't look as good as it should. Yeah. Okay, I see. Tracking. Letter spacing needs to be more. So, tracking wide should fix it. Yeah. Also, the text is little bigger, so we'll also add text XL to this. Now the same thing we want to do for download CV. So we'll add the entire thing that we've added here. Okay, but we don't want this color, we want this color only at the border. So this entire thing that we've added here is not required. The only thing that we need is border orange 500, and yeah, the color needs to be what it was before, that is black. Yeah, I think this looks good. The last thing that we need is these things. Let's do that quickly. Okay, so the parent class will have a grid which will have 4 components inside. Let's add a padding of 4 for now. Let's see how it looks. A margin top of 8 maybe. It has a border at the top and border at the bottom. Let's give it a color of gray, a very light shade. and then every subcontainer will have a display flex. Direction will be column, that is one below the other. They will be at the center. So justify center and item center. Item center is equal to align items. So on the right hand side, you can see the style, the translation of each class. Okay, and we want this for every container. Okay, let's see how it looks. Yes, this is how we want. Now, the one which is at the top should have a bigger font than the one which is on the bottom. Also, the one which is at the bottom should have a different grayish text color. So yeah, let's add that also quickly. So we'll do that at once. Okay, so let's add some padding. Text would be maybe 3XL, and font is bold. The next thing is okay, looking good. Let's add a padding here as well. Size is relatively smaller. Let's add a text color to it. Text gray, maybe 400, and everything should be converted to uppercase. Yes. Okay, we're almost there. The last thing that we want to do is we want to convert this into a font, a different font. So the way to do this is, let's go to fonts.google.com, and what I'll do is I'll type my name here so that I can see how each font looks. Now the one which I want is square pegs. You can choose any font of your choice, but I am choosing this one. So I click on this, and it shows me options. That's all right. I'll go back. Yeah, so I was looking for this button. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to use this style. So I'll go to this input button on the right hand side and copy this portion, and go to VS Code, and go to app.css and add this here. The next thing that I want to do is, if I want to apply this font anywhere, I'm going to create a custom class of, let's say, title, and add this font family. Okay, now I can use this title anywhere I want. Where I want is here and here. This should work. Okay, the reason why it is not working is because we haven't added app.css. Okay, here we have it. So yeah, we are done with the design. So there are a lot of things that we can add. This at this moment is not responsive. We can easily make things responsive using Tailwind, but that is beyond the scope of this playlist. There are also other things that we can add, like on the click of this download button we can uh, do some actions. So yeah, that is up to you. Do let me know in the comment section if you need a course for you need a video to explain those things as well. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.